Today is June 3rd, 2014. You're listening to I Think You Think. We're your hosts. We carry no credentials worth noting. I am Justin, and you are...
James.
It is true. We are joined by a guest today. It is Sammie. Say hello, Sammie.
Hello.
And Sammie's dad, Mike. Sammie is 10 years old. She's in 4th grade. She was born deaf and had her first cochlear implant at surgery at 11 months. She was one of the first kids in the Northeast to have bilateral implant at such a young age. Without her implant, she has 90% hearing loss. And then with her implant, she's actually got better hearing than her father. She's been doing karate for 7 years, describes herself as a tomboy who likes scary and weird things, which is very cool. She also enjoys hardcore and punk rock music.
Which is also very cool.
It's true. Sammie's dream when she grows up is to be either a film artist or a scooter daredevil, which also very cool and adorable. But I Think You Think is a weekly topical podcast. We focus on what we think, what Sammie thinks in this case, what Mike thinks, and what all y'all out there think. So if you want to take part, please send us an email. Please get on our Facebook page. Check out our website, ithinkyouthink.com. I Think You Think is produced by Stolen Arts Productions. And as always, we want to thank Alex and the Anders for their wonderful music at the beginning and the end of every podcast. StravaMax.com, the young lady that did all of our graphics, also makes jewelry over at StravaMax. We are sitting really close together this time.
We're almost cuddling.
Really weird.
I was going to put my arm around you, but I'm kind of sweaty already.
And then always remember to like and share the video and the vidcast and the podcast and let people know about us. And if you want to take part in be a guest on our show, just like Sammie and her dad are doing, make sure to email us, contact@ithinkyouthink.com. So, Sammie is joining us along with Mike to talk about who Sammie is and what life is like for her. And she's got some things that she wanted to kind of tell us about first off. So we normally kind of lead off with like what's going on in our lives and everything. But I would really like to just shine the spotlight right on Sammie. So by all means, take it away, Sammie.
Alright. First, he said I've been deaf since birth, and the best news is I just got new cochlear implants, and my new ones come with remotes. They help turn up the volume, they help turn it on and off, and my implants have programs, program 1 and 2, and this helps change the programs. I have 2 of them. The reason why they look a little different is because one of my implants is an N5, which stands for...
Nucleus 5.
Nucleus 5, and the other one stands for Nucleus 6. And also, I wear rechargeable batteries, they call them, where they look like this.
Hold up to the camera. There you go.
Okay. They look like this, and they just snap right into the top part of the implant, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, get that back on. Okay. The implant looks like this, and these are the new ones. They're black, of course.
Did she say of course?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like black, I guess?
My dad does, and and they have these earmold things, which a lot of my friends ask me what these earmold things are. I see earmolds. They help this stay in my ear because, they could fall off if I don't have them on, like this earmold thing. And then this part right here is the rechargeable battery that I just showed you. And then this part is the part it clips onto. And this is the part everyone asks about. The part where first the sound travels through the mic, and then it goes in this cord and connects to the brain. And the way it does that is that I have a magnet implanted on the side and this connects to that magnet, and it creates sound.
Right. It sends the electrical signals, I assume, right to that recognition area in your brain. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Kind of amazing.
Very amazing. That's science at work right there.
Also, a lot of people ask me what it's replacing. It's replacing parts in the cochlea that haven't really been like sprouted or like finished because my cochlea isn't like perfect. So that's what my implants are named after, cochlear implants.
Now, is that that's the bone in the inner ear? The cochlea is the bone in the inner ear. Is that the one that looks like the seashell?
Yeah.
All right, I know my biology a little bit.
That sounds like credentials. Be careful.
Sorry about that. No credentials here. That's pretty cool.
It's amazing. I've told a lot of people, because Sammie's my niece, for those that don't know. And is that still recording or no?
I guess it is not.
Uh-oh. Hold on one second.
We're going to start that video over there because evidently it has stopped recording. It says standby right now. Hit the button again. Now it says recording. It's all right. If we lost it, we lost it. It's not that big a deal. We still have everything for you. So
it's true. With us in the bottom corner.
Yep. Your picture is there, so no problems there. Anyway, we were saying.
Yeah, like I was saying, Sammie's my niece, and for a long time I have told people that the piece of technology that allows her to hear is my favorite technology on the planet. I just think it's amazing. Everything you can do. I mean, you'd never know. I mean, when her hair covers it, like I've watched her grow up, and you'd never know.
Yeah.
You'd never know. And, she gets to listen to music and love punk and hard rock music, which is fantastic.
Now, when I was growing up, I had a friend of mine whose mother was deaf. And so she went deaf at a very young age because she had a very high fever that damaged her hearing. She always had trouble speaking because she was deaf from a very young age. And so it's great that we have the kind of technology that exists that you could get this. Now, Mike, you had said that this was a unique sort of surgery. It wasn't very normal for them to give the bilateral. I assume that means one on each side?
Right. She had one at 11 months, the second one at 18 months. And to do that much surgery that young was still something not many surgeons were willing to tackle. Luckily for us, a surgeon here in Connecticut at UConn Medical Center was one of the pioneers in cochlear implants in America.
Okay.
And got him as her surgeon. And I'll never forget that one of the cockiest things I've ever heard a doctor say, and it was wonderful. He was running us through all the potential risks of the surgery at the first one. And where the incision goes, there's a potential to clip one of the facial nerves and cause facial paralysis when they do implant surgery. And he had to tell us that. So he said, I just need you to know there's a possibility this could happen. And my wife looked at him and said, well, how likely is that possibility? And he kind of chuckled and said, well, I've never done it.
Nice.
I know I've also inspired people because my mom told me when I was a baby and this old man needed implants and he needed surgery like I did. And he said, if this little baby could do it, I could.
Aw, that's awesome. I have to say, from the moment that I talked, that I heard your voice actually the first time when we were test calling for Skype, and that I talked to Mike, I have to say, I fell in love with you right away. You're absolutely adorable. I love your entire I loved your little paragraph that you wrote about everything. Basically, everything that I read you guys at the beginning was written by Sammie. About the things that she likes and everything like that, and it's adorable. I have a son myself who is 9, so he's just 1 year younger than you, and I have to say you write better than he does, so good on you, right?
Don't take that wrong, Brennan.
Yeah, don't worry, I don't think he watches the
class.
So, was there anything else that you wanted to share with us, and then we'll kind of dive into questions, or?
I was also on Better Connecticut. I did an interview on there. So if you want to check that out, just go to betterconnecticut.com and it should be there.
She's better at that than we are.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. Now, James was telling me you make videos. You make videos? Okay,
Yeah.
I had no idea, so I haven't seen them yet. But he has told me that I really should. So if
Yes, she does like weather reports, and she showed me how to make one of her famous fruit smoothies.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, I did. I remember that.
So, do you like comics?
Yeah, I love comics.
Do you have a favorite comic?
Um,
Now she's gonna think comics like comedians, and I'm thinking.
Not with Mike as her dad.
Oh, okay, all right.
I have a favorite comic books by the same author. One of them is called Smile, and the other one's called Drama. Those are my favorite comic books. And I'm also started reading this comic book series from the library called Bone, or however you pronounce it. It's really cool. I just started reading it.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Friendly
yeah.
superhero.
Yeah. Who is your favorite superhero?
Iron Man!
Iron Man. Any particular reason why Iron Man?
Because he's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah, he is pretty awesome. He's got a lot of cool technology, like you got.
And he's kind of he has a little bit of a story behind him that's kind of cool. Like, and I think there's a little message behind Iron Man because he, even though he got like something stuck in his heart, he was still able to fix it almost. So I think like the message is like, if something happens to you, there's always a way to fix it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know from the same series, Avengers? You know the character Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know that in one of the later comics, he actually becomes deaf and gets a cochlear implant?
You should have told me that.
I'm an X-Men fan. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
Wolverine.
Yeah. he actually gets an implant to help with his hearing. And it's funny. One of the stories that I read on a comic book website, my wife kind of opened my eyes to when I was telling her about having you on, Sammie, was about Hawkeye, and I read it, and there was a little boy who had had a cochlear implant, and he also, Iron Man was his favorite, and then had heard about Hawkeye and got really excited about that. So I wanted to share that with you because I was thinking, oh, she probably likes comics, and it might be nice to know that Hawkeye also was deaf at one point. I think later on he got reborn or something, and
They reset the comic book worlds all the time.
Yeah, all the time. So
I like a shirt with Iron Man on it. I see your shirt with Iron Man.
I do have, and I did not know that Iron Man was your favorite, but I do have Iron Man on my shirt. That is true. Because the show that is next week that we recorded prior to this one, because we time travel all the time in YouTube in YouTube world, yes,
in the internet land.
In the internet land, we were talking about Marvel superheroes, and so that was the reason for the shirt. So, and for those who are watching this week, then spoiler for next week.
Yeah,
there you go.
Sorry.
And speaking of time travel, I love Doctor Who too.
Nice. Now, James is not a big Doctor Who fan.
I am not.
But I am a very big Doctor Who fan.
Very
However,
much so.
I will have to say that I haven't seen as much of the newest season with the one girl whose name escapes me right now, but it doesn't matter.
I can't even see season 7 because I can't find season 7, so I just finished season 6, and now I can't watch season 7.
That is the most epic issue with Doctor Who, is running out of one season, not being able to get to the next season yet. So, you got a favorite subject in school?
Well, writing and little bits of math.
Just a little bit?
Yeah, just a little.
So, Sammie, you have any hobbies?
I ride my scooter a lot. I make videos a lot. I, of course, do karate a lot. I play outside a lot. I love to play outside.
Basketball.
Basketball, yes, basketball, of course.
She said karate.
Yeah, I said it.
And hi, D.
So tell us a little bit about the you want to be a scooter daredevil. So what kind of daredevil things have you done with your scooter?
Like, I want to kind of be in the X Games because we have this hill in front of our house, like a sidewalk hill. I go down that a lot, super fast, and I just learned how to do a jump on my scooter, like a small jump on my scooter. So like I want to be in like the X Games and go like down the big slopes and the hills and everything, and like do the crazy jumps and everything.
Show him your road rash from where you slammed on the trail a couple weeks ago.
It's not. You can't really see it. I think it's like almost gone now.
Oh, yeah, you can see it a little bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh,
War wounds.
Nice.
it was worse. Trust me. I've had a lot of injuries on this elbow. Like,
Uh-oh.
I just realized.
I was walking across the street from getting off the bus, and I fell in the street. I fell off my scooter. One time at recess in 3rd grade, I slid my elbow, scraped it, wasn't that bad. But yeah, a lot of injuries.
Nice. So, this actually is more... Oh my goodness, that suddenly got loud on me. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, this actually is more for Mike. I was wondering, as a father myself of 2 kids, what is it like raising a child that has had to go through some of the things that she's sort of gone through?
It was, right after the surgeries, it's a little weird seeing that many stitches in an 11-month-old's head. And seeing that huge bandage on the side of her head, but it's been really it's really cool because we forget sometimes that she's deaf. She reads lips so well that sometimes even when she has the implants off, and as long as she's looking at us, she's picking up everything I'm saying. So and we're so used to her being able to hear. I mean, she really only had that 1 year of her life when she couldn't hear us. And like I said, it's funny. It's like we forget she's handicapped because we have a son. Sammie has an older brother, Nick, and Nick has a lot of developmental delays and is autistic, doesn't speak. And Nick goes to tell you a good story. Nick goes to Special Olympics. He swims in Special Olympics. And when he first started to go, we asked the person who runs the Special Olympics if siblings could participate because we thought, well, here's a way to get Sammie swimming lessons without having to bring her to the Y or somewhere like that. So we said, can Sammie participate too and maybe get some swimming lessons? And the woman who runs Special Olympics looked at my wife and I and said, well, she's deaf, right? And we said, well, yeah. She went, then yes, she can participate. It doesn't matter if her brother's in it. She's deaf. She qualifies. And we were kind of like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. He's handicapped. So yeah, it's mind blowing that literally a bionic ear exists. As somebody who's old enough to have watched the Bionic Man growing up, it's amazing that technology exists and that it's. I wasn't kidding when I said her hearing's better than mine.
That's true.
Brought her once for tests at her audiologist, and I play guitar, so I have that typical guy in a band hearing damage. And they were playing a series of tones, and she was pressing a button every time she heard the tone. And I was watching her. I was in the booth with her. And at the last 3 times she clicked it, I didn't hear anything. So I got really concerned. And when we were done, I said to the audiologist, did she get them all right? And she said, yeah, she was fine. Why? I said, well, I saw her click it without hearing anything. And the audiologist laughed and said, that's because you have bad hearing.
And there are certain tones as you get older you can't hear. They're higher pitched. And every once in a while to drive my kids crazy, like I will find the tones online on like YouTube and just turn them on because I can't hear them. And my son will come running down the hall and go, what is that noise? It sounds like a bug.
So, Sammie, are there any sounds that don't pick up right with the implants that are really weird for you?
Yes. Whispers. like when someone's whispering to me, I can't really hear them. They have to like talk to me. They can't whisper to me. It's just like, so like if you're, it's like, I don't know why, but like it just doesn't pick up whispers. Yeah, like on the phone, I'll be talking on the phone. I have to put it on speaker when I talk on the phone because I can't like put it up to my ear. I put it on speaker. So like, it's kind of the same thing as whispering because like, you know how like they cuff their hands around your ear and whisper? That kind of makes it a little worse because like it's like the sound is all like quiet and like closed in. So that's why I don't like when people whisper to me a lot.
So have you found that most, like growing up, the kids your age, a lot of them probably don't even know until you show them or they catch a glimpse of it, right? They have no idea?
No idea. Trust me, I had this friend at my old school, and I had known her since kindergarten, and she found out in 2nd grade that I had them, that I always wore my hair down. And on picture day when I had it up, I don't think she was there on picture day. That was like the only day I wore it up. And so I walked into school one day with a ponytail. It was like super hot day, summer, super hot day. And so I put my hair up in a pigtail. And I walk into school with them on showing, and she's like, "What are you wearing?" I'm like, my implants. She's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I never told you about them? You've never seen them?" She's like, "No, I didn't know you wore those." It's funny.
So how often does that kind of stuff happen to you where people have no idea and they're actually surprised, and how do you sort of deal with that?
Well, let's see. Pretty often.
Yeah? Like a lot of friends at school, or?
Yeah, a lot of people. Happens very often.
And how do you deal with that? What do you do with, how do you interact with them?
Well, as in, like, if they ask me what they are, I just respond with the regular. If they're cochlear implants, they help me hear. They ask any question, I just answer it. But also, if I'm, like, at, like, a swimming pool, like, sometimes when we go to, like, public swimming pools, if we ever go to, like, a public swimming pool, they'll, like, one time, I think we went to, like, this swimming pool with, like, a whole bunch of random other people, and this kid bumped into me, and, I turned around to see who it was, and I saw her, like, say something really fast, but, like, I couldn't hear it because I had my implants off, and I'm like, "What did you say?" And I asked her to say it very slowly. She's like, first she asked why she has to say it slowly, and I'm like, "Oh, I can't hear you." She's like, "Oh, is there water in your ear?" And I'm like, "No, I just can't hear you, I'm deaf." And she's like, "How can you speak?" I'm like, "Oh, I have implants I wear." She's like, "Oh," and then she said sorry like she did before.
Ah.
To give you an idea, too, of how well she handles the whole thing, and James, you'll really appreciate this, knowing my sense of humor, which she apparently inherited. A couple years ago for Christmas, she got a tablet for Christmas, and one of the first things she did was change the wallpaper on her tablet to a picture that said, "I'm not deaf, I'm ignoring you." And she knew exactly why that was funny.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you do, when you don't have the implants in, you can hear some things, but they have to be really loud in order to hear them. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Like, vibrations. Actually, vibrations, they are really strong. Like, a little vibration, someone, like, walking down the hall, I can feel that. I have to feel it because a regular person could just ignore it because, like, they can hear the person walking. But, like, I have to, like, feel the vibration because, like, I can't hear, so I don't really know what it is. So I, like, listen to the vibration or feel it. So, like, I'm really good at feeling vibrations.
Her decibel threshold unassisted is roughly equivalent to standing on the tarmac when a jet takes off.
Wow.
Okay.
So what would make our ears bleed is the volume level she would need to hear it without her implants on.
Have you ever, without the implants, you have heard stuff or you haven't? Have you ever heard anything without the implants?
No.
No. I was just
Yeah, I mean that's a really loud noise.
That is really
about.
loud. I was just the only reason I was asking is I was actually interested in, since the way the implant works, is it actually connects directly to that part of the brain for the most part, if I understand it correctly. And so I was wondering if she perceived sounds differently than someone who hears through their ears perceives sounds. And maybe I'm completely incorrect. I was wondering.
We got the opportunity when she was younger to talk to somebody who went deaf and got an implant.
Okay.
We were able to kind of get someone's take on that, and the person told us that it sounded like everybody was in a tunnel, but it still sounded what they were kind of used to hearing. But what I find really fascinating is, as we've talked to some of the doctors and therapists that have worked with her, as they're starting to get these kids growing up now that got their implants so young. So originally, when this technology was new, they would wait till the children were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Now what they're starting to look at is her brain has basically developed with this as her ears. So it did not have to readjust to this new way of hearing. So everything about the nerve pathways in her brain and the way her brain perceives sound developed around having a cochlear implant. So not only to her psychologically is this normal, but literally physically to her brain, this is normal. This is the only way those nerves have ever experienced sound, and that's how they've developed. And they're starting to think that literally these kids' brains develop differently than a regular hearing child's would to compensate for having the implant as it. I know you hear a lot, and people who say there are drawbacks to implants. One of the things that they point to is that they don't perceive music well because the sound doesn't come across right. And I guess maybe in an older child that could be the case, but I can tell you with Sam, not only around the house hearing her sing along to records and things like that, but a few months ago, after about 3 years of sweating me, I finally booked my band an all ages show so she could come see us. And she went to her first, local band show, and so this was bands other than my band she had never heard before, and she was hearing it in a live club for the first time, which is the most chaotic noise environment you could possibly hear music in. And the first band played, and it was really funny. They were this just horrible metalcore band.
Oh yeah, horrible.
She turns, looks at me, and goes, "These guys aren't very good, right?" And I said, "No, they're not. You're picking that up right." Then the second, and same kind of style, that singing, screaming, kind of newer metalcore, but they were good at it, And I looked over, and if you remember when you were a kid, that first time you went to a show in a band that you had never heard before completely just leveled you, and it became the greatest thing you had ever heard. I watched that happen to her, and about halfway through the first song, I looked over, and she was just rocking out, and I mean just moving to it, and was completely into them. And they finished playing, and she disappeared on me. She was there with another one of our friends' kids, and I'm looking around, and where's Sam? And all of a sudden she comes running over, holding a burned CD, yelling, "I got a demo." And I was like, oh my God, I remember that moment. So as far as the perceiving music goes, like I said, she can be at a concert hearing a band she's never heard before and know if she likes it or not. Yeah, well, so then Daddy, some dads are soccer coaches. I play guitar. So where I finally got to be cool dad. So she comes over with the demo, and I said, "All you got was the demo." She says, "Yeah, I just got the demo." I said, "Come with me." So I walk over to their merch booth, and the guys from this band, I said, they're all in their early 20s. And I said, "Hi, I'm Mike from M13. We're headlining tonight." They're like, "Oh yeah, we heard you guys, looking forward to seeing you." Yeah, I said, "This is my daughter. This is her first concert, and you're now her favorite band here." And I just kind of shoved her into the circle of these guys. And she ended up hanging out at their merch booth for a while, talking to them. She got a shirt, and she got kind of the whole first show experience. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
That's a great story. So now, what is it about the music that you like? See, me, my undergraduate degree, I don't want to get too credentialed here, but my undergraduate degree is in music performance, actually. I was a singer for a long time. I'm not really anymore. Mostly classically trained, opera and musical theater and that kind of stuff. So there are certain aspects of, like, I was always really bad at like hearing major chords and how they change into certain kinds of chords and things like that. And do you hear that kind of stuff? Is that stuff that interests you, or is it just more the like overall feeling of the music? I
don't really know how to answer that question.
But fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's difficult. I mean, anyone at 10 years old, I mean, like the change of major chords, that's...
I don't. I still have trouble with it. So
I'm not sure I could answer that question.
well, I guess what do you like about the music that you enjoy the most?
Well, what I like about it, right? You said what I like about it.
Yep.
What I like about it is that, well, the hardcore, like what my dad plays, I like that, like they can make really cool sounds with the guitars. Like, they can make it go up, and then 1 second later it can just go right back down. And I like... This is the part that actually really annoys me. Because
that way.
I know. But I'm looking at you because this is from you. Because in his band, they like to make the sound where they put the microphone up against the speaker, and it makes that really high-pitched sound. So the first time I heard it, I'm like, is something going on with the car? And Dad's like, no, that's the sound of the music.
She doesn't like guitar feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also like the drums in Daddy's band because Ken, the drummer, is a really good drum player. Oh man, so cool. But anyways, I'm also into like a certain kind of like rap, like a little bit of rap. I like these guys called Wax. And my favorite song by them is Out of My Mind. And I also like I forget the name of the Eminem song I like. I forget the name of it, but he's good.
Is it his more recent ones, or some of his older stuff?
More recent.
The only one that I know of is the most recent is the one that he I don't know who he did it with, but the Monsters Under. I'm friends with the monsters under my bed, or something like that. Friends with the monsters, something to that effect. You wouldn't know anything about it because it's pop music, and you don't like pop music.
I love Eminem. I'm the one here who's got good taste in music.
and Uncle Jamie will like this. She's become a huge Beastie Boys fan.
Nice.
I also listen to a channel, radio station on the radio called Backspin, and they have like rap and stuff like that, and I'm beginning to like all that stuff, and like there's this one song on the radio called Jump, and literally that song was just like jump, 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 and then like one word and jump, 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 one word, jump, jump.
I don't know if you guys have satellite radio. Backspin's the old school hip hop station on satellite radio.
Okay.
Little crisscross.
Yeah, and that she's talking about crisscross. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's interesting. She had mentioned that she likes she listens more for vibrations, and a lot of the music she tends to like has deep driving bass most of the time. A lot of strong vibrations. You said you like the drums a lot, and those create large vibrations in the air.
Yeah.
It's also a reflection of her father's taste.
Little bit.
But yeah, I mean that's. I guess to a certain extent it makes sense, and yes, children do tend to like the same things that their parents like most of the time. Do you got any other questions?
So one more thing, I didn't know if either of you had heard this, but they very recently did the first visual version of the cochlear implant for someone that was born blind. They can only see contrast, dark and light, but like if I was standing against a white wall, they'd be able to make out my shape. We talked about that a few months back. But I just think it's amazing. I mean, pretty soon, they'll be able to replace everything. My bum knee. I want a new robotic knee. Somebody send me an order on Amazon.
The other thing that I was thinking about is when you were saying that when they start very young, that their brains tend to create these connections so that it's how they've always heard. To a certain extent, Sammie, you are the next step in human evolution.
She's a mutant.
She's a mutant. She's a superpower.
Yeah, it's what Daddy says sometimes. He says I'm like bionic.
Yeah.
And now, I think of myself as a bionic kid because a long time ago I used to have a retainer that I'd wear at night, so I would always say, now I just need glasses. Metal, but I think of my mind and like my ears like literally bionic. So that's why I like Iron Man 2 is because he's bionic and I'm sort of bionic.
Yep.
So I like that.
And there was a character in one of the comics with Hawkeye that I think was called the Blue Ear, and he had like a bionic ear as well, and he would hear people calling for help and everything like that. So there are some good comics out there that utilize bionic capabilities and don't let any kind of thing hold them back. So you are amazing, Sammie. Really, you're adorable. I hope to meet you someday. Just to shake your hand because you are super awesome.
I have one thing to tell Uncle Jamie.
Yes.
Tell everyone that I said hi.
I will.
All right. So thank you for joining us, Sammie. Thank you, Mike. Really appreciate it. Really, thank you for coming on. And for those of you who have listened or watched, please, check out what was the website that you had mentioned?
Connecticut.
What? One more time?
Better Connecticut.
Better Connecticut. Yep. So check that out for Sammie at the very least, and like and share the podcast and the vidcast, and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.